The Redbirds look to make it 6 wins in a row. We're in the Gateway City, two of the best teams in the National League. Game 1 of a 4-game series, the Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. And with my partner Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. And Al, Cardinals 4-game sweep over the Dodgers. Great start to the second half.
Really have. They won 5 in a row. The offense has come alive, and they're really going out there and playing inspired baseball.
When we come back, Al will break down the pitching matchup here tonight. Pair of right-handers, and both these guys have worked out of the bullpen, and now they're starting rotations. A look at the matchup is next.
A much better pitcher on the road. Very tough against right-handers. A good slider and a sinking fastball. He'll be opposed by Blake Hawksworth. Blake trying to pitch as well as he did in his other lone start here at home. He's got a very good changeup, and when he keeps the ball down, he can be overpowering. That's a look at our matchup, and we'll be back with more after this.
Yesterday in a sweep, 4 games against LA. The Cardinals overall have won 5 straight. Tonight, they say hello to St. Louis native Lafayette High School's Ryan Howard, the $125 million man. Blake Hawksworth looks to control him and the Phillies. It's game 1 of a 4-game series coming up next. A crisp, clean finish, it's what we do. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. By Chevy's expert auto service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. Another warm night here in St. Louis as we get you set for baseball. Game 1 of this 4-game series, the Cardinals and the Phils. Early start time tonight. Shadows will be in play. Sunshine tough for the guys in right field. Jimmy Rollins, Placido Polanco, and Raul Ibanez. Then the St. Louis and Ryan Howard, who has torched the Cardinals here at home. Jason Worth, Shane Victorino, Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, and Kyle Kendrick. And it's Blake Hawksworth getting the start tonight for the Redbirds. His numbers presented by Marshall Wireless Sprint.
His 6th major league start, 2nd one here at home. He's starting to stretch out now. He's thrown 5 or more innings in each of his last 4 starts. And his only other start here at home, he pitched a season high, career high. And this would be a good test for him. This Phillies ball club, it's hard for us to understand why they are struggling offensively. But their ball club right now is really struggling. They've had a lot of injuries. Guys like Rollins, who's going to lead this game off, basically has been on the disabled list twice this year and really just trying to find his timing.
First pitch, a strike to the switch hitting Jimmy Rollins, who's hitting .233, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. And folks may have noticed Chase Utley not in this lineup. That is also a big loss for them. And he's expected back in late August, and you wonder where the Phillies will be at that time.
Chase had surgery on his thumb. He injured his sliding. And I saw today he was taking ground balls at second base with his hand behind his back. Charlie Manuel is, Polanco just returned from the disabled list. Rollins has been on there all season long. Ibanez not having the same type of year. Jason Worth, but they do have Ryan Howard, and he's the reigning National League Player of the Week.
Here's Polanco as an active 10-game hitting streak. And off his buddy's glove, that's Pujols. And Hawksworth is covering the bag at first. And safe at first is Polanco.
Polanco came in at .319, but been on the disabled list with a bad elbow, but he's a professional hitter. He's going to make contact. And here Schumacher recovers, tries to get there, bang play, and it goes against the Cardinals.
Now it's Raul Ibanez. His numbers way down from where they were a year ago. Hitting .249 with 7 home runs. He's driven in 41. Game time temperature is 83 degrees here in the Gateway City. Rain showers this morning and again this afternoon. The first pitch is taken a little bit low. Cincinnati, by the way, if you're wondering, as the Cardinals are in first place in the division. They're playing Washington, and the scoreless just underway. There's concern about the start time of this game, and the reason why the weather caused the umpires' travel plans to be delayed, but here they are. And we're so thankful that they're here.
And there really is a rule. I believe it's they have to be in the city 90 minutes before a game. And of course there are contingency plans for bringing in amateur umpires in case umpires do not arrive.
1-2.
And we're all thankful the real umpires are here. What the heck, they only have 2 choices.
Safe, out, ball, strike.
Ball, strike, right, that's it.
There's a lot of arguments for just 2 choices. Good pitch, but it's pulled for a base hit into right. Stopping at second will be Polanco. Ibanez really reached out and pulled that. Now watch out. Here comes Ryan Howard. A look at the defense for the Cardinals tonight. No Matt Holliday, so it's Craig in left. Lopez, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols along the infield. And our battery tonight, Blake Hawksworth and Yadier Molina. Molina could be a huge key, as he always is, as the Phillies lead all Major League Baseball teams in stolen base percentage so far this year. The numbers are incredible when you think about Ryan Howard back in his hometown, hitting .381, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, .536 on base percentage, and 63 at bats.
29 RBIs in 17 games here. But he has been a monster against Cardinal pitching overall. .367, 14 home runs, 44 RBIs. And you know, a lot of people think that this Phillies ball club, and I am one, think that they are not going to be falling out of the pennant race. There's just too many good hitters here. Charlie Manuel's gotten pretty good pitching, but it's been the offense that's been stagnant. But they play very well against the Cardinals.
Changeup that time on 2-0.
To me, that's Blake Hawksworth's best pitch, that changeup. Ideally, you'd like to get it down a little bit and fading down away from a big power hitter.
The Phillies have had their everyday lineup a total of 7 times this year. 7 times, that's it.
And how can you expect them to?
That is a fair ball past Pujols, who was arguing with the first base umpire. Here comes Tony La Russa. He'll argue as well, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia.
Ryan Runge's already been involved in a couple close plays there, and you don't see Albert argue much. I think Albert now regretting he didn't dive for that ball, but in his mind it was foul, so why dirty the uniform? But it was very close to the naked eye, and really hard for us to tell. These are the only looks we have, and you can see Albert doesn't complain often. And it's where it goes over the bag, but it appeared it still maybe was a fair ball, even when it went past. So I give the benefit of the doubt to Brian Runge.
And it's runners at second and third. Here's Jason Worth.
Well, here's a real test for Blake Hawksworth. He is not allowed to hit 0 for 7 to a batter with the bases loaded this season. It's tied for first in the National League. It's not base loaded. They scored a run.
So Jason Worth looks at a strike on the outside corner. Worth is hitting .276, 13 home runs, and he has driven in 50.
Jason.
Cardinals one of the best when they score first. Matter of fact, percentage-wise, the best, 36-9, and the Phillies 31-10 when they score first. Worth could do some damage here in the first inning. The 1-1 from Blake Hawksworth. Pujols involved in a couple of plays. The one that Polanco hit, he would love to have back. That would have made it 2 outs and nobody on. Instead, it was off his glove, ruled a base hit. 2-strike base hit by Ibanez and the double by Ryan Howard. Look at Jason Worth, and you see that body. Amazing that he used to be a catcher. Long, lanky, tall. You don't usually see catchers that look like that. Good player.
He's good, what, 6'5"? Shows you made him like Bauer either.
No. Up and in.
You always wonder about would you move Mauer back from out the plate to save his legs a little bit. Got a pretty good first baseman that's on the DL right now, and they have a great minor leaguer, a kid prospect. He's not hitting a whole lot, but still really highly touted. I remember talking with them when we were in Minnesota before the season. I think it was Ramos, could be Castro, but here's Ramos.
Popped up. Pujols makes the catch. And that's out number 2, and it brings in the switch hitter, Shane Victorino.
Set up inside, ties him up with that pitch up and in. Get that pop up, that's so important. You get that runner at third base, less than 2 outs, you want to either the pop up or even take a line drive right at somebody in the infield.
It's a former Rule 5 pickup, Shane Victorino.
Flying Hawaiian.
That's right. Hitting .253, 15 homers. He's driven in 50. When Rollins was hurt, he was at the top of the lineup. Very good defensive player, center fielder, former Gold Glover.
It's amazing how many of these Phillies really have good batting averages against the Cardinals. And he's been productive with runners in scoring position.
0-1 from Hawksworth. Cardinals trying to make it 6 wins in a row here tonight. Dramatic win yesterday with the young guys coming through. Alan Craig and John Jay, and those two are in the lineup tonight for Tony La Russa. One of those wins that if you win the division, get into postseason play, you look back on, and it's a special one. Victorino with his good speed, a lot of times, even though he does have 15 home runs, he'll put it on the ground and use that speed, and especially from this side of the plate, he'll slap it the other way.
Take advantage of one of your superior strengths, and that's running speed.
It's a tough right field for John Jay tonight, at least at the beginning of the game with the early start time, the sunshine, dealing with that.
Hawksworth gets out of this inning with just 1 run scored. You would consider that a moral victory. He's allowed now 5 runs in the first inning through his first 6 starts.
2-2.
Good pitch. You're going to miss there inside after you're going away, so using both sides of the plate. And if his best pitch is a changeup, this is a perfect time to throw it. After that ball inside, have that changeup moving down and away.
Pitch number 25 here from Blake Hawksworth. Up the middle, base hit. Here comes big old Ryan Howard from second, and he will score to make it 3-0. A 2-out, 2 RBI base hit for Shane Victorino.
To the fastball. Well, through the fastball, but it's up in the zone. Up out over the plate, that's not where you want it. Then you got big Ryan Howard, leads the National League in RBIs. He got him on the scoreboard with the 74th, and he comes home with another run.
So a 3-0 lead here for the Phillies. Carlos Ruiz. First base open, Al. Professional hitters, if you have mentioned before, why not go with the changeup? And if you walk him, you walk him.
Yeah, I mean, you got first base open. Guys get to the big leagues hitting fastballs.
That's right.
I mean, Victorino's a good hitter, and it really wasn't the ideal location.
Keep an eye on him at first, too. He had a big lead there, Shane Victorino, and he read Hawksworth perfectly. If he wanted to steal, it would have been easy.
I'm the first to say I like people to challenge people, but if you go with your best pitch, even if it's in the first inning.
Started, then stopped did Victorino, who's now filling with the dirt over there at first base. He slipped, and he was off with that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Like he wanted to go both times. The second time that slip caught him from going.
Cardinals catch a break. The fact that Roy Halladay, who pitched yesterday in Chicago, will not make a start in this 4-game series. Exmo Camp presented by Plaza Tire Service.
That first step didn't quite get there either.
There he goes. Great jump and a base hit into right field. Victorino on his way to third, cut off by Ryan. And it's first and third with 2 outs. That's 5 base hits here in the first inning.
This time he's running on the pitch, locates it, so he goes on to third. And out to talk to Hawksworth, and really you're just hoping to get out of this inning, regroup, get your team on offense. But this was kind of an indication when we looked at this Phillies ball club. We have never seen them not hit. So since the last time they were a hitting machine, and then we heard about all them not
just putting it all together.
Yeah.
See the slide there by Victorino into third base. 2 outs and 2 on, and a pitch that's up to the 8th place hitter, Wilson Valdez. Valdez is filling in at second base, and we saw him with Rollins out. He was at shortstop earlier this year.
Can't really fill in for Chase Utley, though.
Not many can.
No.
If anybody.
One of the best all-around offensive players and all-around player.
1 balls and 2 strikes. You wonder, Al, if it's a situation with the Phillies that you become complacent, and you wonder if that hunger is there after 2 years and making it back-to-back to the World Series, or if you feel you can just flip the switch and say, let's get it going.
I think part of it you mentioned, in fact, when you don't have your everyday lineup out there, it's hard to manufacture something. The one thing you always thought that Charlie's teams were going to hit, they have not. But Gary Matthews made a comment to me. He said, this team has always played so well against St. Louis. We'll find what we're made out of, in this series. We're going to find if they can turn it back on.
Utley, obviously a huge fixture in that lineup for the Phillies. With him, 39 and 32, and then without, 2 games below the 500 mark. Runs are down. Home runs slightly up. And the average is 18 points down.
That's one of the things Bill Thompson also said, too, is a lot of times this team is swinging for the fences.
0-2 pitch. And a fly ball out to left. Alan Craig. 100 makes the catch. Back-to-back trips to the World Series for Charlie Manuel. 3-0 after half inning. Arriving here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The police escort despite the fact they hadn't made a call yet. Look at the lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Felipe Lopez, John Jay, and Albert Pujols. And then Rasmus, Craig, and Schumacher, Molina, Hawksworth, Ryan. That's presented by Sprint. And the Cardinals will face a right-hander in Kyle Kendrick. And a look at his numbers this year.
Kendrick pitched much better on the road than he has at home. And maybe just because he's in a homer-friendly ballpark. But it shouldn't be the case because he's a sinker ball pitcher. Sinker ball slider. Very tough on the right-handers. Left-handed batters batting over 320.
Defense for the Phils. Ibanez, Victorino, and Worth in the outfield. On the infield, Polanco, Rollins, Valdez, and Howard. And our battery tonight, Kendrick and Ruiz. That's presented by Dobbs. First pitch is a strike to Felipe Lopez. Or was it? Looked pretty good. They called it a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I said they only have 2 calls.
Oh, I'm ready to argue.
What did Fox Track show?
Fox Track, Sal, never lies. Never lies. As you well know.
Absolutely.
Up the middle and a base hit. Leadoff hit for Felipe Lopez. Let's go back to the first pitch by Kyle Kendrick. Was it a strike? Here's Fox Tracks.
It's pretty good. And it was a strike.
I feel so relieved now that it's been confirmed.
You're doing it from a little higher vantage point, too.
Here's John Jay. How about these young guys, Al? John Jay and Alan Craig, and what they've been able to provide for the Cardinals here last 10 days or so.
Well, Tony always talks about when somebody is out, you don't dwell about that. You just talk about the opportunity. John Jay, Alan Craig have jumped through and taken advantage of that opportunity.
Batting .360 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs.
And his 12-game hitting streak stopped on Saturday, but he was instrumental in the victory yesterday with 3 walks and scored the winning run.
Ryan Ludwig will begin a rehab assignment, we understand, beginning tomorrow. Will not be available in this series, it doesn't look like, but could be available for the Cardinals in Chicago beginning on Friday. Runner was going. This is slicing down the left field line. That's a fair ball and hops over the wall. Ground rule double for John Jay. And the Cardinals will bring the tying run to the plate in Albert Pujols.
John Jay, we've seen him have that ability to take the inside pitch and pull that, but I'm very content taking the pitch away from him the opposite way. And now Charlie Manuel has a decision made. He's got a 3-0 lead, but he knows Albert. Kendrick is kept Albert to a .250 average.
Pujols came off the bench yesterday against Broxton in the 8th, grounded out. And now the big bullet for Tony La Russa, when he wants to use it, is Matt Holliday tonight on the bench.
Holliday really has not done much against Kendrick, just 1 for 11, so perfect time to give him a day off. He's a little banged up. He had a calf issue or a shin issue where fouling a ball off it.
And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Now Kyle Kendrick is from Houston, Texas. Lives in Washington now. Spent most of the season with their AAA affiliate last year, and that was after back-to-back seasons where win totals were double figures.
And his major league record stands right now, a career record is 29-17. ERA over 4.6.
0-2 pitch.
He has all the ingredients and has had some certain levels of success, but must be a reason why they keep on sending him back.
Runners in scoring position, hitting .345 for Pujols this year. A single, a double, and now Albert, 1 and 2. It's going to be frustrating for so many pitchers where those borderline pitches go Albert's way, but Albert is so disciplined at the plate. He doesn't chase much.
Umpires are human too. They know who's at the plate.
Albert is sitting on 21 and bounces it to short. Rollins up with it. That'll score a run. Cardinals get on the board. RBI number 65 for Pujols. Toyota keys to the game: Kendrick, Moyer, and Blanton. Best ERA against St. Louis. Minimum 4 games started. Kendrick, Moyer, and Blanton.
With that combination and how much damage that Ryan Howard and company have done offensively, you can see why the Cardinals have had their problems last few years with Philadelphia.
People may look at the numbers this year for Roy Halladay and say, well, what's going on here? They don't score when Halladay is on the mound. He easily could have 14 or 15 wins.
And lately they haven't been playing good fundamental baseball behind him or others.
Roy is 10-8 with a 2.40 ERA. Here's Colby Rasmus with 1 out and a runner at second base. Hits it sharply to second. Look what I found. 2 outs. Advancing Jay to third. Now 2 away for Alan Craig.
Still a low batting average, but look at those 5 RBIs in the 4 games in the Dodgers series.
Should mention another youngster has been called up. That's Salas. Fernando Salas was recalled for the 4th time this season. Evan McClain, the left-hander, was sent down prior to tonight's game. Alan Craig celebrated a birthday yesterday, and so did Joe Torre, his 70th. Big gap in the left center. 2-0.
He had 2 hits, and he drove in 3 runs yesterday, including the game-tying run in the 9th inning. He was down the count to the all-star closer, 98-mile-an-hour Broxton. A lot of people feel that, would be a question, could he hit? Watch how he holds that bat, how he almost the barrel going towards the pitcher. Makes your swing a lot longer. And people question, would he be able to turn on a real power fastball?
With that going forward, Al, would you also be worried about a little loop in your swing too?
Well, it's just not that direct approach, but so far it's part of his timing mechanism. But he understood against Broxton, he could pretty much say, okay, I'm going to get a fastball and I can turn it up a notch, but it leaves you exposed to a pitcher's secondary pitches, his off-speed pitches.
Here's a 3-1 pitch to Alan Craig. 3-2. Schumacher on deck.
You're right about, when you come forward, you have to almost have a loop. And you always talk about that quick bat speed. Well, that's not the way to generate bat speed. But so far, at every level but the major league level, he's been able to hit. Here he's been able to drive in runs.
And he strikes out here. Cardinals strand a runner, but they pick up a run. Beautiful shot, live look at Busch Stadium. In game 1 of this 4-game series, it's 3-1 after 1. As we move to the second, which ballpark is the most home run friendly? Text poll presented by U.S. Cellular, Citizens Bank Park in Philly, Coors Field, Great American Ballpark, or Minute Maid Ballpark. Text Homer, A, B, C, or D to 432-432. I'd go with A.
I think I would too, especially with their hitters. But
here's Kyle Kendrick to lead it off.
And I met a young man earlier this week, Ryan Palmer. And, his team, the Pintos, won the 8- and 9-year-old World Series on Sunday. And during this game, Ryan Palmer slid into third base, broke his leg. But the good news is, and I'm putting a real positive spin on this, is Ryan is a cancer survivor. And when he broke his leg, they found an additional cyst. So I think the good news, he's going to have surgery tomorrow at Children's Hospital. And we wish Ryan a real speedy recovery. But I'd look at that only as positive. Because of the broken leg, they found something that they may not have found for a while. So, Ryan, congratulations to you and all your teammates. And we'll be pulling for you for a speedy recovery.
Foxworth not happy there as he walks the pitcher to start the second inning.
Like his cleat might have caught on the mound or something, but you'd like to think you shouldn't have got to the 3-ball count before you walk the guy.
And so here is Rollins, who flied out to center to start the game. Also wish a speedy recovery to our buddy that works with us day in and day out, Jim Jackson, the radio producer and engineer. He's missing some time with us, and hopefully he's watching tonight. We miss him here at the ballpark. Where are some of these pitches?
That's a real ditto, but saying before the game when we thought maybe the umpires might be a little tardy, late, that we just have an honest game. Let the catchers call balls and strikes.
1-1.
There's a borderline pitch. Maybe it'll start going the other way.
You talk about speed of the game, and they always mention the players stepping out, adjusting their gloves, pitchers taking their time. I think the biggest thing, Al, is the fact that they don't call the strike zone.
It's not the same strike zone that I played with. Much, much smaller. If you establish in the hitters' minds that you're going to call strikes, the players will adjust to that strike zone. The worst thing can be that nobody knows what the strike zone is.
2-1 pitch. A rope hit to second and off the glove of Schumacher. He does have a force play at second and out.
I think the sun was hard to blame there. Schumacher will never make a mistake, excuse or anything, but right where he was positioned, you can see kind of that sun right there. And it went off his glove. He jumped actually higher than where the ball was hit. They get a better look there, but he scrambled after it. A real tough running play with the pitcher Kendrick. As he was going back to the bag, couldn't recover, so they do get the force out. Phillies are probably happier to have the pitcher off the bases, though.
So Rollins is at first. Here's Polanco, singled off the glove of Pujols back in the first inning. Cameron to score. And once again, good numbers for Placido Polanco, hitting .321, 5 home runs, 29 RBIs. He did spend time on the DL.
Just recently came off, but Polanco really just such a good hitter. A real terrific #2 hitter. If you think about the old days, Tony likes to put power and damage there, but Polanco's the guy that can either take a pitch or two, allow the base runner to steal. Perfect hit and run man, contact hitter extraordinaire.
And a complete team player. He comes to Philly having won a Gold Glove at second base with Detroit, but when he signed, he knew he would have to move with Utley there. So now he takes his talents over to third base. First full season was in the major leagues in 2000 with St. Louis. And this could be 2. Out at second and out at first. Double play. 6-3 on the double play. Midway through 2, and it's 3-1. Fight with Jim Hayes. Matter of fact, that was Jim earlier today. And the cat fight is tomorrow. Jim was captaining that boat. And Jim will join us, we understand, coming up in the 3rd. He's back from a little vacation. Trivia contest with great prizes. The cat fight tomorrow night. And he has made his way into the booth, and we're excited to have him back with us in the 3rd inning. Kerry Robinson also in the booth with us, the St. Louisan. Here's Skip Schumacher, 2 balls and no strikes. Never forget the home run that Kerry hit against the Chicago Cubs.
Hey, we're going to Chicago this weekend. I wonder if anybody will show up.
Day baseball on Friday and Saturday. And they're the Sunday night game, correct?
Yes.
And a leadoff walk, so Kendrick does what Hawksworth just did moments ago. Leadoff walk to start the inning. Here's Molina.
Done something that's hard to do. He's raised his batting average 12 points since the All-Star break. Hit in 5 straight games.
And that's taken for a ball. Just taking a, and watching Molina now, he's just taking better at bats. Not chasing as many pitches. We've seen him strike out more this year than we have in years past. Outfield not very deep. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One thing that has hurt him, and you just talked about the outfield not very deep, particularly in right field. As there have been times where he's hit the ball right on the nose, but with the right fielder playing shallow, you know, he can come in and make that play.
Taken low, 2-1.
According to Fox Tracks, it should be a strikeout already. 3 straight strikes to Molina, but it's a 2-1 count.
Runner goes, and a stolen base. No throw from the catcher, Ruiz, and a steal for Schumacher.
See the jump? That 2-1 used to be a traditional hit and run count. He was leaning, looked like he wanted to go. They went ahead and executed the pitch. It was not the hit and run because Molina did not swing at it. And now he's hitting 3-1.
And that's a walk. So back-to-back walks here at the bottom of the second inning. And another pitch that looked to be pretty good, but Molina was taking on 3-1.
Well, the one thing that now they're going to have a conference on the mound here with Blake Coxworth coming up is when you're a sinker ball pitcher and you're trying purposely to stay at the bottom of the strike zone and they're not being called, you can tell where it's going to be very frustrating because you're doing everything you're taught to do, want to do, and if you elevate the ball, your pitches become a lot more hittable. And it's been consistently Mike Winters not giving the low pitch to the pitcher.
Let's see if they say something to him about the strike zone. No?
Rich Doobie, the pitching coach out there, he didn't say anything, but a lot of times.
There's 3 pitches to Molina that Fox Tracks says are strikes. And remember, it's not where he catches it. Our cameras are set up right on the plate, where it crosses the plate.
I mean, those are 3 perfect pitches where you're told to throw the ball. Down there, they hit it, they pound it to the ground, you get your ground ball. And Molina running, it's a ground ball double play prior to the stolen base.
Pitcher batting 8th, and so here's Hawksworth with runners at first and second. You've got pretty good speed out there with Schumacher at second and then Molina at first. Polanco is in, but he'll go back to the bag if need be.
That's why you bunt it hard enough to get by the pitcher down the third base line.
Kendrick, only play is to go to first. He may have had a play though.
He did have a play at third base, and never once. With a pitcher running, he could have taken a look, but most of the time, you're turned around and you're waiting for the catcher to direct you, tell you where to go. But here, the bat higher, just have the soft hands, just let the bat catch the ball, almost let the bat come back at you to deaden it. And a good job by Blake.
Cincinnati has jumped out to a 4-0 lead. That's in the top of the third. Brendan Ryan now a chance to tie it up with a base hit possibly. Outside.
Starting to show a little better approaches at the plate.
Average at 193, 2 homers, and he's driven in 17.
He singled. Walked twice and had a sacrifice in the win yesterday. Tyler Green out with kind of a bruised hand.
Little chopper off the plate. Schumacher will score. And Ryan is out by a half step. Cuts into the lead. It's 3-2. Well, this is nice. With every Cardinals win during this homestand, fans can take $5 off Lowe's box seats for any Monday through Thursday game in the month of August. This could lead to a discount as high as $35. That means free tickets. Stay tuned and save. With the sweep of the Dodgers over the weekend, the Cardinals already at 4-0. So big discounts possibly in the month of August.
And another part of the resurgence of this Cardinal offense is scoring runs with better execution, playing more little ball. Both runs here today have scored on ground ball outs. They're walking more frequently. That puts base runners on base for more scoring opportunities.
It was RBI number 18 for Brendan Ryan. Lopez singled and scored in the first. Tying run at second base, that's Molina. Outfield is straight away. One ball, one strike. Get the sense that Cincinnati, with their very good pitching, and it's only getting better, especially in that starting rotation, is not going to go away here in the final 2 months of this regular season.
No, and I don't think either one of us thought they would.
Lopez, grounder to second. Over some of the news of the day as guys are getting healthier for the Cardinals with Jim Hayes when we come back. It's 3-2 after 2. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Taco Bell, open 2 a.m. or later. Hey, Al. It's great to have Jim back.
Jim who?
Hey,
Jim Hayes? Well, I did miss him, though.
I did miss him, too. Great to have you back, Jimmy.
Great to be back in your warm embrace.
Here's Raul Ibanez. Much needed vacation for Jim, and you were where, on the Jersey Shore?
Yeah, North Wildwood. How about that?
Good for you.
Missed you guys terribly.
I thought everyone was supposed to go to the Gulf Coast.
Dan?
I mean, everyone was supposed to go down to Florida and the Gulf Coast and help out the economy there, but not you, Jim.
Well, I go where my family is, and they got a place in North Wildwood, so that's where I went to be with family.
So you were cheap.
Yes.
And we've got the return of the cat fight tomorrow. No balls and 2 strikes here on Raul Ibanez with Howard on deck and then Jason Worth. Reaching for it, and Hawksworth, after bobbling it, will underhand Albert
It was
Pujols.
a catch. It was a line drive catch.
They just finished the play and said, why not? Just to be sure. And it brings in Ryan Howard, RBI double, his first time up, and a run scored. It's 3-2 here in the third. And we talked about how this team is starting to get healthier, Jim, and maybe first and foremost on that list, the right fielder, Ryan Ludwig.
Well, you mentioned it. Ludwig headed for a rehab assignment in Memphis tomorrow. The length of that assignment still up in the air. They want that left calf to heal. Ludwig, what called it his biggest test to date today, running the bases. He also took some BP and did some work in the outfield. Said the calf felt great. He was very excited about the progress he was making and was cleared to go on this rehab assignment. He felt the thing he needed the most from this rehab assignment actually to get reacclimated to playing in the heat, because he hasn't been out there for 9 innings sweating it out the way he had in the past. Also timing, obviously.
From the outfield grass, Schumacher has to hurry up when they get Howard.
And I'm glad to hear that, because I watched him run today, and I said, I've never seen him run any better.
We said he actually looked a little faster.
Traveling this season, apparently Jim has lost his touch up here in the booth. When this is handed to me, I have to read it. Now, if you're traveling this season, take the Cardinals with you Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cardinals game live or on demand straight from your computer. And if you'd like to find out more details, just visit Cardinals.com. Here's Jason Worth. Now, Jim, go right ahead.
I just said that
he was running well.
Ryan Ludwig was running quite well. And then he said, and Tony echoed it later, that running the bases was the big test for the calf because there was some cutting involved and acceleration.
And that'll stay fair, so base hit for Worth. 2-out hit extends the inning to Victorino. Pete Prenzi is strength and conditioning coach of the Cardinals and watching Ryan Ludwig. Let's suit him up. He looks good.
Yeah.
Took some BP as well and also some additional work in the outfield and said the calf felt strong and he felt great and he was eager to get on with it.
And I think it's always important is when you have the ability to go down on a rehab assignment, take advantage of it. That rule was put there for the players' protection and to help them out. One time, your 21-day disablement, and the day you came off it, you were put right on the roster, and you had no chance to test it out. But you can go on the rehab assignment up to 30 days, and find out if you truly are ready for big league action.
What Ryan wants is for the calf to hold up and for him to make a quick return to the Cardinals, possibly this weekend for the Cubs.
Yeah,
2-out base hit, first time up for Victorino.
And I think it does make sense in this heat. He's been gone for about 20 days, and that muscle will get stressed as the game goes on, so you want to see how it holds up with, say, maybe 2 days of playing.
1-1 pitch. Good changeup that time. 1-2. Ask the Dodgers if it affected them this last week, and I think you'd get resounding yes.
Victorino right up on top of the plate, hanging out over it, and then he's going to try and sell the umpire that ball's inside, but clearly it was a strike.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Very short lead at first by Worth. But the heat was a factor, I think, this weekend. As you know, if you talk to the Cardinal players, they'll tell you you do get used to it. It's just something you deal with here in July and August. But for those guys to come off a break from the All-Star game and then you're used to playing out west and then to come into this heat, it's a big, big difference.
Not really a factor in North Wildwood because of the ocean breeze.
Yes. And I really think that we really overplay this. Now, these guys are...
What, Jim's vacation?
No, these guys that are tremendously gifted athletes that have every advantage nutritional, and they take such great care of them. People were playing in this heat for many years and got another one.
He did it again. Picks off Jason Worth. He's something else. Another pick off for Molina. Pujols ready for it. Worth straying off the bag. See you later.
to the first inning fan cam and see who's enjoying the game tonight. Budweiser, it's what we do. .34 pickoffs now for Yadier Molina since 2005. That is most in the major leagues. Here's another one, number 34.
You just wonder why people take that extra step or two. And clearly that wasn't even close as his hand slid right into Albert's tag. So Jason Word takes a secondary lead, tries to scramble back, but it's too far. And you saw his hand went right into the glove, and no question, no argument.
Here's John Jay. Good pitch in on his hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jay is in the second spot in the lineup. And you'll have Pujols and Rasmus here for the Cardinals, and they're after the third, trailing 3-2. Well, that's a position player that's trying to get healthy in Ryan Ludwig. Another one that plays the outfield, one of the top pinch hitters in baseball this year, and that's Nick Stavanoa.
Yeah, Stavanoa has the injured right shoulder, and he's been shut down from all baseball-related activities while it heals. The update on him is he's not sure what's going to happen with the injury, except tomorrow he'll have a reevaluation. They'll take another look at it and go from there.
Slight separation.
Slight separation.
Trying to make a diving catch in Houston before the All-Star break. 3-1 here on Jay. Little chopper that Ryan Howard will make a good play on, leads Kendrick for the out. I think the most interesting of these injuries that guys are trying to come back from has to be Kyle Loesch, because we've not really seen anything like it in baseball. And when you hear surgery with a pitcher, you're thinking, all right, done for the year. That's not the case here with Kyle Loesch.
Well, because it was in his forearm, and they didn't tear up a lot of the infrastructure. It's a casing that surrounds the muscle. Al knows more about the medical stuff than I do. I do know this. Kyle Loesch threw his second bullpen today, 50 pitches. He said with good velocity, and he felt great. He said he can't believe how sharp he is, and he's going to see how he responds tomorrow. He said the plan is to throw to batters on Wednesday, and he's hoping for a rehab assignment soon after that. He thinks it could be a matter of a couple of weeks before he's pitching for the Cardinals again. That would be miraculous.
Yeah, that would be huge, too. They need him. 0-2.
Al, if you want to throw in the technical stuff that I left out about the surgical procedure.
The compression.
And
the sleeve.
The sheath. Yeah. It didn't really help me much, Al.
1-2.
Joe. Well, that's Joe. That's his producer. And I usually have to talk to his producers. They can go through the cat.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Almost hit him. Jim, help me out. What's he talking about?
I think it's because I do a little radio program locally on 590 The Fan, and our producer is Producer Joe. This is television, though.
All right. Pujols hits a rocket into right center. Extra bases. Worth will track it down, and it's a one-out double for Albert Pujols.
Ball up out over the plate. You just can't make that type of pitch to Albert. And inside part of the foot. Left leg right there makes it a real tight turn. We've got the ball in quickly, but you knew it was going to be a double.
Colby Rasmus grounded out to second, first time up.
Hurt.
100th double for Albert Pujols in his career at this ballpark. Of course, he's closing in on 400 home runs overall in his career. 0-1 pitch to Colby Rasmus. Here it comes.
You know, Albert was messing with me during the pregame off camera, I thought it was one of the other players until he got a hold of my arm, and I honestly felt like a shark had closed its jaws on my arm. Once I got a feel of his strength, I knew it had to be Albert messing with me.
So he's in a good mood.
Very good mood.
Good. 0-2 pitch here to Colby with room to the right side. Trying to keep Pujols close at second, and the odd gap you see there in the infield is Ryan Howard is guarding the line, and then you have the second baseman Wilson Valdez, who is trying to keep that runner semi-close at second base.
Big gap there, worth playing more shallow in right field than any of the other outfielders.
Oh, are you surprised to see Howard as close as he is to the line?
Yes, yes. I just don't remember Colby hitting that many balls down the line.
1-2 the count.
The slider, the cutter coming in on the right-handed batter. Pitched him in.
And he pulls it near the Cardinal bullpen, or rather dugout. 1-2. Inning started with a ground out by Jay, double by Pujols into right center. And now a ball at 2 strikes on Colby Rasmus. In the air out to center. Victorino makes the catch. Pujols will tag up from second to third.
Things like that, we don't see many players do that. Tag up on a line drive out that Albert knew that it was going to be caught, so after initially going halfway, you go back, tag up, and advance. Albert's going to make a few mistakes being aggressive, but there's a lot of guys that are afraid to make mistakes. And when you play safety first, it's just not, you just don't take advantage of every opportunity.
Body of work, Pujols, and the aggressiveness on the bases, much more in favor. Overwhelmingly in favor of being aggressive.
Yeah, and most managers will tell you that, okay, I can tolerate mistakes as long as they're aggressive. And who knows, now getting himself over to third base, does he tie this game on a wild pitch, pass ball?
Here's Alec Craig. Struck out his first time up. 0-1 pitch. Craig off the end of the bat out to shallow left. Ibanez makes the catch. We played 3. Jim, we'll see you on the post game. 3-2 Phillies. run. And we turn to our This Date in Baseball History. He was very good down the stretch. Big lefty, Chuck Finley. Cardinals trade Louis Garcia and Coco Crisp to the Indians for Finley. Finley in his 17th season would win 7 games. And that was Juan Encarnacion. There's Derek Lee, now of the Cubs, that he struck out. And one of the big contributions that Chuck Finley made to that team, besides winning games, was teaching Andy Bennis split finger pitch in what would be Andy Bennis's final season. And Andy learned that pitch, and he was able to get a lot of people out. Remember, Al, at the end of the season, he was outstanding, even though he wasn't the Andy Bennis that was throwing 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, Andy kind of really finally learned how to be a true pitcher. And it probably could have gotten parlayed into another contract, but kind of knew that he'd reached the end on his own way.
Yeah, and Andy said to me that he was offered a deal by the Cardinals, but he figured that was it for him. But he learned that pitch just by playing catch with Chuck Finley. Victorino retired, and here's Carlos Ruiz. 1 out, nobody on. 3-2 here in the top of the 4th. That's a fair ball past Lopez. And that'll go down to that corner, that side wall. Alan Craig gets it back in. 1 out double for the Phillies catcher. Build-A-Bear Workshop Day coming up at Busch Stadium. Great way to take the family to the ballpark. Sunday, August 1st, Pittsburgh will be here. 1:15 with the start time. That's the replica Ozzie Smith jersey in celebration of that 1985 team. They'll celebrate that team all weekend long. Friday night, the Vince Coleman bobblehead. Saturday is the Whitey Herzog bobblehead, and then we'll have the Build-A-Bear Workshop Day on Sunday. Good seats still available. Cardinals.com. A liner caught by Ryan and safe at second. Might be one of those times that you would hope Brendan Ryan would put it in his back pocket, but he's one that will take a chance defensively.
Take a chance, but play under control. And Brendan trying to do a little too much. You see with Schumacher a little late in getting there, but I guess with Schumacher, you kind of, it's like all players around there kind of have to be on their toes, because Brendan's going to do something that you go, wait a minute, play under control.
This is Kendrick. The pitcher walked his first time up, and now he is ahead again, and this his second at bat, 2 balls and no strikes.
Kendrick 2 for 29. Not exactly like you're pitching to Babe Ruth.
Three and 0. And he walked him. Wow. Hawksworth has walked 2 in the game, and both have been to the pitcher, Kendrick. That's 8 balls and 1 strike this ball game here to Kendrick.
Jimmy Rollins may be struggling a little bit, but I still wouldn't be flirting with giving him opportunities to beat you.
So 2 outs and 2 on, and out to visit Yadier Molina. I want to remind folks, tomorrow night, Wednesday are night games, and Thursday is the afternoon game. Kids tickets start at just $7 all season long. And this Wednesday night, Ice Mountain Autograph Night. Get here early, current players sign, and then the alumni will stop on by and take care of those autograph needs on Wednesday night here at the ballpark. Good seats available.
Tim, Angela, Alex, Luke Wiener from Moscow Mills will be here. They were up here as guests of Kerry Robinson. Another pitch outside.
Rollins has flied to center, also hit into a fielder's choice. Changeup. That's taken for a ball. 2-0, and this crowd a little bit restless now. Low strike has not been given at all here tonight.
Apparently that strike on the inner part of the plate was not given either, according to Fox Tracks.
Very good numbers in this spot for Rollins. 2-1.
Breaking ball as Jimmy Rollins was ahead in the count. He was selective, looking for a fastball or looking for something other than that breaking ball, and so he took it.
Chopped up the middle, base hit into center field. A run will score, and it's 4-2. Walk to Kendrick, extended the inning to Jimmy Rollins. He chops one up the middle, picks up the RBI, his 19th, and it's 4-2.
Boy, not hit hard at all, but look at the position of Schumacher, the second baseman. So little tapper over the mound, a long, long run. Skip never gets there and gets away from it. He was playing to pull the ball, and so a long run, he would not have thrown out Rollins. The only thing he would have done is possibly stop Ruiz from scoring.
Here's Polanco with 2 on. He fights it off, but that'll be caught by Schumacher as he jammed it. Phillies pick up another 2-out base hit RBI, and it's 4-2. Plays here. That first one to get Belliard and a couple of more after that.
So much of times it's where you're positioned playing, and they had it played where he still had to make some great effort and came up with it. That was yesterday. Today, they had him too far in the hole. On Jimmy Rollins' ball, it goes up the middle, and it just eluded him as he had a long, long run. So good to see Schumacher getting some good defensive plays in there, and it's good to see that batting average on the climb too.
Against Kendrick, 6 for 12 with a home run and a strikeout. Walked his first time up. Schumacher here, and then Yadier Molina and Blake Hawksworth for the Redbirds. That's something we should mention in that ball game yesterday. Jeff Suppan, for the most part, Al, in his starts, has given the Cardinals exactly what they wanted, which was a chance to win the games he starts and 5 to 6 innings. He's done that.
And we said that about him the first time around. that, you know, Supon's the kind of guy that's going to, you know, a 6-inning pitcher. He'll give up usually around 3 runs, but he'll give his team a chance to win. And actually, with a little luck, he would have had no runs on the board yesterday.
Now to his right, left of the screen, there's Ludwig, and also Adam Wainwright was down there talking with Soup. How about Wainwright and what he has done at home this year? It's been remarkable, historical, really. The numbers that he has put together. He's now 10-0 here at home as Schumacher flies out to right. And I think right now you'd have to put him right in the thick of that conversation for the Cy Young Award.
Definitely. And also he continues his major league record of 25 now consecutive home starts, going at least 6 innings with less than 3 runs. 3 runs or less. 25 consecutive home starts.
Amazing. Home ERA is around 1. Molina back to Kendrick. Quickly 2 down. We were talking about this earlier. Be sure to join us that weekend against the Pirates. End of this month into August. And this will be Friday, July 30th. The Vince Coleman bobblehead. Compliments of Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. Still a few tickets remaining. Cardinals.com/promotions. Hawksworth takes a strike. The following day, the Whitey Herzog bobblehead, and then the Build-A-Bear Workshop Day on Sunday. 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
I wonder what Whitey's doing this weekend.
Working on that speech right now, I bet. Fine-tuning it, maybe.
I'm sure he's got it down, but can't congratulate Whitey enough.
Hawksworth strikes out. And we have played 4 innings here at Busch Stadium. 4-2, Phils. .com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Welcome to the Pony Express Museum in St. Joseph, Missouri. April 3rd, 1860. A lone Pony Express rider, the first of his kind, left Pikes Peak Stables in St. Joseph's. And this year actually marks the 150th anniversary of this historic journey. If you'd like to find out more, just head to their website at visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Recapping that first series against the Phils. A couple of games competitive, and then it just seemed like the Phillies took over. And that ERA, pretty impressive, .64.
Well, we had a good first game, as you said, and then their pitching just dominated the rest of the way through. That's what we're kind of accustomed to seeing, is pretty good pitching from them. Not that under 1 as the final 3 games, but used to seeing a lot of offense from the Philadelphia Phillies.
Raul Ibanez, as we start play here in the 5th, it's 4-2. Ibanez has singled and scored and also grounded out back to the pitcher. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Steven Jackson has made his way to the ballpark and sitting in the green seats. Rams running back. Training camp just around the corner. There's a base hit on a pitch that was up. That's a load right there, partner. That guy can play some football. Before tonight's game, Fox Sports Midwest and the Cardinals recognized Athena Elementary School as the most enthusiastic Doing It Right school this year. Doing It Right encourages elementary students to stay in school, stay healthy, don't do drugs. Congratulations to Athena Elementary School for the spirited welcome when we brought the Doing It Right program there. Were you there?
Can't remember. But, you know, they have a decorating contest. And some schools just go all out. And Athena was the winner this past year. So we want to tell people to contact Fox Sports or the Cardinals Elementary program. Get on the schedule for this coming school year. It's a free program to the schools. It's a lot of fun.
1-0 pitch to Howard. Could be 2. Schumacher to Ryan on to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Almost looked like Brendan Ryan was going to go after the baseball. And Schumacher with a runner at first, positioned a little bit differently this time for Ryan Howard. Not so deep into the outfield grass.
That's it. And a little closer to the bag. But see, Brendan Ryan is behind the bag. So watch his initial step is he's going to field it. Then he sees where Schumacher is. So he goes to the bag, gets an unusual feed. Because of that ability to throw sidearm. That's one of the few times that his ability to throw sidearm did benefit him.
There's Jason Worth, and that's a strike. Worth was picked off last time.
One thing to always remember is sometimes the extreme defensive positioning, and check out where your other infielders are. Schumacher getting that shovel pass, and then we talk about how he always wants to throw sidearm. But this is a time where it's a little easier for him and it benefits him. And avoiding that runner coming down the baseline.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Jason Worth. It's popped out to first and also single, but then was picked up by Molina. Time is called.
Hawksworth is allowed 9 base hits and a couple walks. But 5 of those base hits were in the 3-run first.
It's gotten a little cloudy here tonight. 2-2. Now full count.
A little rain to our east as Cincinnati is in a rain delay, leading Washington 4-2. They had a rain delay in Pittsburgh, but they've resumed play. They're hosting Milwaukee, and now they're in the 4th.
And he walked him. Hawksworth had 2 strikes on him and let him off the hook. And that is his 3rd walk that he has issued. Brings in Shane Victorino, our AT&T trivia question since 04. Which National League team has the most home runs?
I have a thought. It's Philadelphia.
5th most for the Cardinals, over 1,100. Over 1,300 for the Phillies.
I wouldn't have thought the Cardinals would be that close.
04 team was a lot of home runs. 05, and then it started to tail.
Yeah.
So they probably did it early on.
And I'm sure Ryan Howard's had a big factor in those home runs, Utley, for the Phillies.
And for the Cardinals here, last few years, it's been Albert or Ryan Ludwig. Now Matt Holliday. Hit down the right field line and foul. You'd have to think that Pat Burrell had something to do with that as well with the Phils. He's now with San Francisco.
Now, was he released by Tampa Bay?
Yep, picked up by San Francisco. Nothing in 2 the count. With 2 outs and a runner at first. Pitch number 83 from Blake Hawksworth. Instead, another check on the runner. Coming up, it'll be Brendan Ryan, a ninth place hitter. Then we'll see Lopez and Jay. Phillies picked up 3 in the first and another in the fourth. They lead it 4-2. Shane Victorino with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Singled up the middle to make it 3-0. Scored 2 in that first inning. Reaches for it and a ground ball to second. Schumacher to Pujols. Ryan, Lopez, and Jay coming up. It's 4-2. And it's 4-2. The Phillies leading the Cardinals. Brendan Ryan will lead it off for the Redbirds. RBI ground out his first time up. First pitch is hit out of play.
Cardinals have been out hit 9-3, and both RBIs coming on groundouts. This game could be a lot worse. Hey, we hope Mickey Garagiola, who's resting comfortably at Barnes Jewish Hospital, hope Mickey recovers quickly. See him out here at the ballpark.
Liner into center. Victorino there for the first out. Hit it on the button, but right at center field.
You know Mickey Garagiola?
I sure do. How about all his years at Pietro's in South City?
Or wherever. I go back to the Hill with years with him, but you're right. Mickey, a good man.
And Joe is still doing a little broadcasting with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He can't get down that hallway without signing all those autograph pictures of himself.
They have a mural of Joe Garagiola as you head to the broadcast booth in Arizona. Various shots throughout the years. Best batting average third baseman this year. Cardinals at .299. Quite a difference from a year ago. Remember, Mark DeRosa came on, hurt his wrist, was ineffective at times. Troy Gloss missed just about the entire year. That was something that they wanted to improve upon, and they have with David Freese, but Freese is dealing with that sore ankle.
And I think it was something we could look forward to his return, and probably right around the 1st of August. Felipe's done a nice job filling in anywhere bouncing around the infield.
It's become a very valuable signing. A 3-1 pitch. That's one of the reasons that they brought him in. You know, did you feel protected enough if somebody did get injured? North Stars making Sundays extra special with ice cream sundaes 2 hours prior to any Sunday home game in the Ford Plaza. Make sure you check out the Cardinals calendar for family Sundays as well, where you get the hot dog and soda with the purchase of a ticket. One out and a runner at first for John Jay. A lot of folks have taken advantage of the MasterCard Grand Slam ticket back for the weekday game. $60 and you get 4 sodas, 4 hot dogs, 4 tickets. 1-0 pitch to Jay. Take it for a strike. John Jay tonight with a double and also grounded out. It's the 3rd walk issued by Kendrick. Two and one. Big gap into left center. Two-one pitch. Taken low. 3-1. He wouldn't walk John Jay to put 2 on for Pujols, would he?
Not intentionally, but the strike zone, when you're trying to throw the ball down and you're not getting calls, it makes it tough. You still have to pitch your game.
The 3-1. Runner goes. It's hit into left center. Victorino with his good speed. Can he get there? He will not. One hops off the wall. Lopez can just walk on home. RBI double for John Jay. Jay, his 2nd double tonight. Cuts the lead to 4-3. I was showing you just moments ago that big gap in left center. John Jay took advantage of it.
Dan, we talked about earlier, if he gets an inside pitch, he's been able to turn on that, hit it to right. You pitch him away, he'll drive the ball out to left field, so they left a big gap out into center field, left center. And then coming off the bat of a left-handed batter is just going to slice away from Victorino and go right into that left center corner. A gap, and all of a sudden we got a 1-run ball game with Albert hitting with a runner in scoring position.
Pujols with a base hit into right center. He's got a base hit tonight, 1 for 2. That was a double. You see the top of this lineup. Those 3 have really done some damage. In-game box score presented by GMC. Pujols puts the Cardinals on top. Wow! Over the bullpen and left, number 22. A rocket for number 22.
No doubt about that line drive, was there? Did it sound sweet? His 22nd home run. 2 more RBIs. His total is up to 67. And the Cardinals have their first lead. 5 hits, 5 runs, and a 5-4 lead for the Redbirds.
One out, and here's Colby Rasmus. We have seen now the Cardinals come back in games in which they have trailed, no doubt about that one, over the middle of the plate and up, and crushed by Pujols. Exmo Camp presented by Mercedes-Benz. But these are games in which at least the Cardinals come back and make these competitive, and now they have a lead of 5-4.
And this ball club now is starting to generate some excitement as you're seeing guys get in front of Albert or Holiday, guys being able to manufacture runs after them. All of a sudden you're feeling very comfortable about this offense and its ability to score runs. But there's an example right there of trying to pitch inside, but don't throw a strike inside, especially to someone with the lightning quick hands of Albert Pujols. You miss inside off the plate. You miss inside in the strike zone. That's what happens more times than not.
Colby pops it up left side. Out of play. 422 feet off the bat of Albert Pujols. Rasmus tonight 0 for 2 with a ground out to second, also flied out to center. The fly out to center, though, was a liner that was hit right on the button.
Interesting things about Philadelphia is their bullpen is throwing the fewest innings in the National League. One, your starters are going deep into games, but is that also a reflection that you don't want to go there?
It's sharply to Ryan Howard. We mentioned how Howard was playing very close to the line in the previous at bat with Colby up, and this time it paid off.
And Ryan Howard lost a lot of weight this offseason and is much more mobile defensively.
Alan Craig is struck out and also flied out to left. Ryan Howard also mentioned how batting average was something that was important to him, more so as far as getting those numbers higher than they have been in the past to go along with the power numbers.
And he's just right at 300 too.
Yep.
So
trying to become a complete player.
Yeah, and I think he's succeeded. Hit 279 last year.
Lafayette High School and at the time Southwest Missouri State of the Missouri Valley Conference, now known as Missouri State, the Bears. Two of the best on display tonight, Howard and of course Albert Pujols.
It's hard to believe that it's taken it took Ryan Howard so long to get to the major leagues for the numbers he's accumulated while being here.
Works out in the offseason with Scott Cooper and David Freese, number of major leaguers. High drive and a deep left at the track. It's at the wall. Goodbye. Alan Craig, first home run.
Quite a week for the young man since being recalled. His first major league home run, another RBI 6. And he's been here for 5 games. Minor League Player of the Year a year ago, hanging breaking ball, and he just sends it up there. You can see that Ibanez gave up on it. Albert's got to like this. Come on, Albert. Atta baby.
2-run lead for the Redbirds. No activity for the Phillies in their bullpen. We've seen a walk and a pair of home runs and a double in this inning.
John Jay and Alan Craig having a little fun together, saying, hey, it's not that tough up here.
You know a little better than that.
Not the time you think that somebody slaps you.
Baseball gods will get you.
They sure will. But you have to, it starts with believing that you can play at this level.
Remember, Alan Craig made the club and then went 1 for 18. Start the year and then was sent down.
But you have to commend him because he knew he needed to go down play every day. He had never experienced sitting on the bench and being a role player. And he went down there with the right attitude and played his way back up here.
Put up big numbers.
65 RBIs in 67 games.
Schumacher down the right field line. The third home run in this inning. Pujols, Craig, now Schumacher. Craig and Schumacher go back to back.
To come in allowing 15 home runs, and he surrendered 3 in this inning. Now they're getting some activity out there in that bullpen. The slider cutter leaves it right down and in, and you just turn on that ball. You pull it, it's in the shortest part of the field, and this pitch will get excited once again. McGuire, he's having more fun. He's having as much fun as anybody with his home run. But that's not what he teaches and preaches. Stubbe will out there is allow that bullpen a little time. Durbin is warming up.
What a night this has turned into for the Redbirds with 7 hits. 3 home runs in this inning. Kyle Kendrick, last 3 outings against the Cardinals. Pretty good. And then you see what's happened tonight. 4 2/3. 7 hits, 7 earned runs. Began with Pujols. 2-run homer following the double by John Jay. Craig, the solo home run. Schumacher, a solo home run. 7-4 Redbirds. Two outs and nobody on for Yadier Molina. Slicing down the right field line and out of play. These fans think everything's going to be a home run.
Molina has hit Philadelphia pitching very well, 6 for 11.
Homered against the Dodgers on Friday night. And a ground out here. Big inning for the Cardinals. Their first lead of the night. It started with a walk, then an RBI double. Pujols cleared him with a 2-run shot, closing in on number 400. Solo shot for Craig, his first. Schumacher added his third, back to back. It's added up to a 7-4 lead. The next day, get a free buffet with a purchase of one at the kitchen at Lumiere Place. Visit My Choice for details. And by AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Champions Club in St. Louis. Cardinals 5 runs in the 5th. And now let's see if Hawksworth here in the 6th can put up that all-important 0 and then maybe get into the bullpen of the Phillies. Carlos Ruiz. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, it's real important for Hawksworth just to do it for himself. And we'll let Tony decide. Probably his last inning of work anyway.
Ruiz, little flare into right. John Jay makes the catch. Going to be a part of the first ever Cardinals Care Run Home for Kids, 6K on August 29th. It's a 6K in honor of number 6, Stan the Man. The Cardinals Care fundraiser will start at the Musial statue outside Gate 3 here at Busch Stadium and end at home plate. And this is going to be one of the bigger fundraisers for the Cardinals this year, along with the winter warm-up. And all you have to do is go to cardinals.com/runhome for more information. It'll be a competitive run, but also if you just walk, you just jog, come on down and do it. Raise money for a great cause. 100% of all funds raised go to the kids in St. Louis.
During the break, they celebrated and sang happy birthday to a young lady that we think turned 100 years old today. That's almost the age of Jimmy Pitts, who's celebrating his birthday down in Tulsa. Jimmy, a very, very old guy.
Sure that on his birthday he appreciates that message. Dobbs is on deck, by the way, with a pinch hitter. Two and two.
Chad Durbin continues to warm, and Greg Dobbs, you mentioned, going to hit after Valdez.
Another good pitch in on the hands. Pujols over. Runs out of room. Two and two on Wilson Valdez with 1 out. Resume play with Cincinnati and Washington. That's in the top of the 4th of a 4-2 ball game.
You're a middle infielder with the Philadelphia Phillies. You almost have to hope there's an injury for any playing time, right?
And they've had plenty of that this year, more than they'd like to see.
Sure. Jimmy Rollins has been out just about all the year. Now Utley's going to miss 2 months. He's well into that. Chase Utley had the cast taken off his thumb a few days ago, and I noticed today he was taking infield practice at second base, really just fielding ground balls, but really protecting that bare hand, holding it behind his back as he fielded balls.
Called, 3rd strike.
First strike we've seen down all night.
First strikeout of the night for Blake Hawksworth in last 3 seasons. This date, first place, commonplace for the Phillies. And here in 2010, 5.5 games back, only 2 games out in the wild card. As a manager, you have to wonder, with the same cast of characters, basically, how do you ramp it back up and get it going again? Can't be an easy thing to do. There's a strike to Greg Dobbs, and the starter Kendrick is lifted from this game. I'm sure Charlie Manuel's trying every which way to get things going.
You can do everything, but you got to get your guys on the field. And you, like you said, it's you want to have that drive. You can't have them lay down a little bit or relax. Think they can turn it back on.
0-2 pitch. Happy birthday to Ken Roberts. Ken just turned 69 and still working hard, battling the heat. And that's a foul ball.
In my mind, Hawksworth's best pitch is a changeup. And there you see the circle changeup. The thumb and first finger form a circle, and you put it back in the hand to deaden the speed, and then throw it just like your fastball, but it's pushed so far back into the palm of your hand. And with that circle on the side, kind of help you with location.
Pitch count at an even 100 tonight. 1-2. Dobbs has really made a nice living after being a pretty good pinch hitter here for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He really is a guy that has shown he can come off the bench.
Loop into left. Ryan just a bit short. Great effort.
You appreciate that effort as the left-hand hitter. Ryan was playing back up towards the middle, so a real long run came about a yard short, but you always appreciate that effort. Closing in on the ball, and why not give it a dive? You got
just
your left fielder back up.
One step short. I mean, people, and we talk to the opposing coaching staffs and players, they still marvel at his range and the balls that he does get to, but obviously it's been a down year this year for him offensively. Ryan, force play at second base. Good work by Hawksworth at 7-4 midway through 6. To 4 in favor of the Cardinals. Take a look at our What's on Tap presented by Budweiser. Phillies and Cardinals will be on the air at normal start time, 6:30 with the pregame show. Carpenter and Jamie Moyer. What a story Jamie Moyer is. 9-9 this year. 4.88 ERA. And of course, Carpenter coming off a tremendous start last time out against the Dodgers. He is 10-3, 3.16 ERA. Carpenter and Moyer tomorrow. And we'll come your way on the pregame show at 6:30. So that'll be it for Blake Hawksworth. He's in line for the win. And Randy Wynn will pinch hit. By the way, that pinch hit, little flare base hit by Dobbs, put him 4th all time.
Past McCarver.
Yeah, 4th all time for the Phillies on their pinch hit list. This is our Chevy called to the bullpen, now with 48 pinch hits for Greg Dobbs wearing a Phillies uniform. Chad Durbin, 3.13 ERA. This is hit time. Deep right. It's another Cardinal home run. Randy Wynn off the bench. 4 home runs in the last 2 innings. And some unlikely sources, too.
Randy Wynn, his career has been resurrected here in St. Louis. Really saw his playing time diminish with the fine play of Stavinoa and then lately of Jay. But Randy Wynn show you he can still turn on a pitch. He's a switch hitter, and he pads the Cardinals' lead. It's now a 4-run lead now. And 4 home runs. Guys in the bullpen have to get him. Say, where's this power coming from?
Had to get out of the way.
He was scared. It's okay to catch your own teammates' balls.
Two and 1 the count. Ryan to the left side. Good play by Polanco. He was playing in. Well, Brendan has lined out to center and grounded out sharply to third. Nothing to show for it with 2 hard hit balls.
Swing bat a little better though, isn't it?
Yes, he is.
Randy Wynn. How good a basketball player was he?
Very good.
And a pretty good teammate.
Steve Nash.
Right. Santa Clara?
That's correct. Yeah, very good player, very good athlete. As we're getting a chance to know him, very good guy, too. He's fitting quite well. That home run at 398 feet. Felipe Lopez takes a ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, this ballpark plays very fair. If anything, maybe a pitcher's ballpark, but tonight, hot weather, ball is flying out of here for the Cardinals.
Both teams are hitting the same conditions.
Lopez popped up left side. Rollins there, former MVP, puts it away. 2 outs.
Chapter.
Let's go back to our text poll. Which ballpark is the most home run friendly? And fans agree with us. Citizens Bank Park.
And I think you and I would disagree with the fans.
On C?
Yeah, C. We would say that would be number 2, the Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati.
Remember they signed Eric Milton, who was a fly ball pitcher, and we never understood that. And then
Milton, it seemed like the year before, of course, he was playing for Philadelphia, but he led the National League in allowing home runs. Just didn't seem like it was a good match going to the Great American Ballpark.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's about a week ago, Chad Durbin came off the disabled list with a right hamstring strain.
Two balls and a strike. John Jay with a pair of doubles here tonight.
John Jay's got his average up to 372. And whether he comes in the starting rotation or he comes off the bench, he's done a very good job in whatever capacity is used.
3-2. And he walked him. Cardinals have drawn 4 walks tonight. They've hit 4 home runs.
Haven't you seen that this team has improved quite a bit in that area? They're not chasing as many pitches out of strike zone. Conversely, their strikeouts are way down, and now their walks are up.
Here's Pujols. He is homered tonight. Now at 22 on the year.
RBIs at 67, average at 311.
1 ball, 1 strike. Albert Pujols started in the top 10 in hitting. And now with 22 home runs, he is at the top of that list. And closing in on the RBI leaders. The leader is standing at first base, Ryan Howard. He has 73 at the start of play tonight.
Picked up 1.
Yep, up to 74 with that RBI double. 1-1 pitch. 2 strikes on Pujols. As a chase. Full count. Ground ball to Polanco. Pujols is retired, and that does it, but Randy Wynn off the bench, another home run for the Cardinals. It's 8-4. Year-old. Randy Wynn will stay in the ball game. He'll take over in right field following his solo home run. Polanco, then Ibanez and Howard. Saw Trevor Miller pitch a couple of times in the series against the Dodgers. 21 2/3 innings. And And a strike called, 0-2.
They just couldn't pull the trigger. Throwing a lot more fastballs this season. There's a good one in on the hands of a right-handed batter. Nice gentleman there, catches it with his, he has the old Anheuser-Busch special in his left hand, right hand bear, catches it, and then gives it to a youngster in front of him.
It's talent right there.
Oh, that is. Takes a lot of practice.
0-2 pitch. He did everything right. Caught the ball, didn't lose the beverage, and handed it to a youngster.
Yeah, it's not such a big deal catching the ball. It's not spilling anything.
Very, very important. And at about this time is when his phone starts to get text messages, phone calls. Brendan Ryan makes the play.
Blanco coming off the disabled list. He's got Ian Rawlings trying to get their timing back. Ibanez not quite having the same season he did a year ago. He's got 7 home runs currently. He had 34 a year ago. He's at 41 RBIs. He had 93 a year ago.
And a strike. Seeing a lot of fastballs, as you mentioned. I'm not sure he's thrown a slider yet.
And I think part of that is, you know, people are so accustomed to thinking slider, 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 especially these lefties. And now he's fooling them a little bit with a fastball. So you can get away with that. And then by the time they start looking fastballs, then he goes back to his sliders and has them all messed up. 0-2. There's a slider. Did he swing?
1 ball and 2 strikes. What do you think about John Mozeliak in some of the signings that he has had? 2 lefties last 2 years have been good. Very good signings. Reyes and, of course, Trevor Miller here.
I remember Trevor initially was signed to a 2-year contract, and then just formality going through the physical, found that he had a slight tear in his labrum, something he never felt, never bothered him, so they revised it to a 1-year contract. Had a phenomenal season last year, and then he got the 2-year contract back. And really quality guy, and
got him. Strikeout to Miller.
Throws him on a fastball.
You're right. I mean, that's a perfect example of a left-handed batter that is waiting and waiting and waiting for that slider, and he got one out of the entire at bat.
Yep. And then it was off the plate that he almost got him to go after, but he's established the fact. We'll see if Ryan Howard paid attention there. This is maybe where video would come into play. Is, you know, you study some of these recent outings from a reliever you might face and say, have they changed the pattern that I'm accustomed to? Starts him off with the slider, but out of the strike zone.
We asked a GM, we'll leave him unnamed, about Ryan Howard, and it wasn't the Cardinals GM. And we said, you know, what would your notes say about Ryan Howard if you went back and looked at him? And he said, we did. I said, how did we miss guys like Pujols and Howard and some of the others? We'll go back and look at our notes. And at that time, we said a guy that had a big bat, but we did not project him to be a major league player. You know, we thought he could hit for power, but was he going to be too limited? And he said one thing we didn't realize is his great opposite field power that he has. It's interesting how GMs will go back and review the comments made by scouts or even themselves if they go out and see a particular player.
And first of all, let's clarify that many times when you're talking about an amateur draft pick, the scout or the general manager is really not aware of those guys to a large degree. Now if you're picking in the top 10 or something like that, or your number 1 draft picks, you might be following guys a little more closely. But if somebody was down in the draft Albert, what, 13th round? Ryan, I think, was below that. But those, you know, very rarely do your general managers really know about there. They got too many. They're looking at thousands of other ball players in the major leagues and AA, AAA to be knowing every amateur draft pick. So that's really the scouting director. And a lot of times they're relying on the scouting reports of the area scouts. With all these fastballs here, they're still having a little trouble getting around on it because they're still in the back of their mind saying, I know I'm going to get a slider.
To give Ryan Howard great credit to get himself in shape and make himself an all-around better player.
Fastball in. 3-2.
Jammed him.
Good pitch.
Pulled foul.
Well, and see, that's the other thing. I mean, you know, you can't see the heart. And there you see a good pitch right there. 3-2. Obviously, it's not in the strike zone, but you saw a fastball and couldn't resist swinging. Now they go back to slider or back to repeated back. No, yeah. Now they want the slider.
And a base hit.
He went fastball in, then he went slider, and then he threw a fastball.
Pitch by pitch here, presented by Chevrolet.
There's a slider started out, he's out of the strike zone. And another slider, 2-0. Goes back to fastball in, gets a strike call. Fastball down, 2-2. And he misses inside there, 3-2. Fouls one off. Then he comes with that one inside on a 3-2. And then the fastball that he hits for the base hit to the opposite field.
So it'll be a pitching change coming up. Mott will try to get the final out here in the top of the seventh. Two outs here in the seventh inning. And Jason Mott in to face Jason Worth. Foul ball. Dessert time for that youngster, and that's in the Champions Club.
That was bedtime.
A little bit of both.
Yawning. Now, when you're facing Jason Mott and not getting dessert, you got to think you're going to get a fastball. Disappearing for the 40th time. ERA 2 3/4. 36 plus innings. 28 hits. More than a strikeout per inning.
Get out of play. Quickly, 2 strikes, 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And again, this is an example where you never know where the game of baseball may take you as a player. Mott, former catcher, he's on the mound. Worth, former catcher, everyday outfielder.
I think people would be surprised how many players, went from being a position player that signed and become pitchers, or other guys changing positions. Jason Mott got roughed up a little bit in the Dodgers series, but he'd been pitching excellent baseball.
Randy Wynn very deep in right field. We've seen that's how he plays.
Well, we talk about how many hits are in front of you, and remember earlier this year he had his long airless streak snapped. But when you play that deep, you really don't put yourself in a position to make too many errors.
I guess the question would be, does Randy Wynn position himself, or is it the coaching staff that would put him in that spot? Many times you'll see the positioning done by Dave McKay and Joe Patini down there, along with Dave Duncan. 2-2.
Worth is strong enough that he can hit it to all fields, but by far Randy Wynn is playing the deepest outfield in right field. We've just seen that the times we've watched him, he plays extremely deep, and sometimes that's a little tough to see from the bench.
I think the thing that you think about with Wynn playing that deep was the comeback win that Colorado had, the 9 runs in the 9th inning, with a few of those balls that weren't hit very deep, and Wynn was playing deep. A broken bat, center field. Rasmus won't get it. Back-to-back singles.
Ryan Howard was running on the pitch, so easily went from first to third. And there once again, playing so deep, it cost you. Now you hear the bat break like that or see it break, you better come in because that ball's not going to carry. So before Howard reached second base, that ball was still up in the air, and he was able to go to third, and makes things a little interesting with 2 outs.
Now much more shallow with Victorino up. Popped up. Is it playable? Molina is over. He's got it. Phillies strand 2, and it's time to stretch here in St. Louis. Winner in the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Yang Chu Kim will qualify for the Hyundai Sonata drawing. New pitcher, lefty J.C. Romero. Cardinals, by the way, 4th time this year that they have hit 4 home runs in a game, last coming at Toronto. Numbers on Romero. Bud Black gets an extension. Well deserved with everything he's been through. Closer left town. That was Hoffman at the time. Ace Jake Peavy was traded. Owners in and out. New GM, and yet Bud Black has that team playing great baseball, and he gets a 3-year extension.
Very highly touted when he was a pitching coach with the Angels. Everyone thought he'd be a great manager. He's starting to show that why people have faith in him. Romero real tough on the lefties, and he's been scoreless in 23 of his last 24 appearances. Again, the season on the DL, recovering from left elbow surgery.
I asked Dave Duncan earlier this year if he had any interest whatsoever in managing. And he said at one time in his career he did. He said, but to be honest with you, and he's an honest guy. I mean, when you ask him a question, you're going to get, whether it's on or off the record, an honest answer. And he said, I just don't think I could deal with the media day in and day out.
Yeah,
that would drive me crazy.
I think that's it. At one time he did believe in it, and he does answer all of our questions, and he's a straight up guy, like you said. But to deal with everybody and to deal with it day in and day out, can be a little sheltered as a pitching coach.
Ground ball to first. Howard is in. He is the longest tenured pitching coach in baseball history. And I asked him about the Hall of Fame, and he said it's not something you think about every day, obviously. But he said I'd be lying to you if I don't think about it.
And, he was a catcher during his playing days. And I believe the way he comes up with a scouting report, if he ever wanted to be a hitting coach, he'd be an outstanding hitting coach.
Here's Alan Craig, who homered for the first time. Looks at a pitch low. He's also flied out to left and struck out back in the first.
Did you ever see Dave Duncan's numbers when he played in Modesto, California?
Unbelievable.
I think he had 46 home runs.
Romero. Bare hands, throws to first, 2 away. And it brings in Skip Schumacher. He, along with Craig, back in the 5th, went back-to-back with home runs. 3 in that inning. Pujols had also homered. A 2-run shot. Randy Wynn has homered here tonight. So unusual sources for the home runs tonight. Craig, Schumacher, and Wynn. Another big crowd here at Busch Stadium tonight. 40,253. 40253.
Cardinals with their 4 victories in the Dodgers series knocked off $20 off any outfield reserve seat for the Monday through Thursday games in August. Still got 4 more games, including tonight, to knock off another. Well, I guess to knock off $15 more, right?
Win 3 of 4 and you got free tickets.
You got free tickets. How about that? Any outfield reserve seat Monday through Thursday in August. Can't get much better than that.
Moyer and Carpenter tomorrow. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Skip's home run, his 3rd of the year, and his 22nd RBI. Two-two pitch. Good inning for Romero. Sends us to the 8th. We're at Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. 3 in the 5th. Kendrick, the starter for the Phillies, 5 innings, 7 hits, all the runs were earned. Hawksworth, 6 innings, 10 hits, and he gave up 4 earned runs. That's a look at your game summary as Mott stays in for his second inning of work here in the top of the 8th. 8-4, St. Louis.
How about the job Kyle McClellan did over the weekend, and say all season long, is that he's unscored upon here at home.
And Mott has 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup here. And I agree with you, Al. I mean, McClellan has just been lights out this year. Very reliable. And, of course, you'd like to see Franklin get a little work, too, if need be.
I believe what Ryan Franklin is saying, that he needs to pitch a little more frequently, and it's a balancing act. I know the Cardinals have worried about him the last couple Septembers of him getting tired, but I thought some of his problems late last year was not pitching on a consistent basis, and occasionally that's happened this year also.
Scott Rowland got a cortisone shot in his right hamstring, and that's one of the things that we talked about, you know, with them going down the stretch here in the final 2 months. A couple of older players, can they make it through the grind of the 6 months? Because Rowland is a huge part of that team.
Not only what he's done, you know, during the games, but what he does pre and post games, just with his leadership in that clubhouse, taking those young talented players and teaching them what the sacrifices and what you have to do in order to win.
Brandon Inge of the Tigers hit by a pitch. That's a big loss for them. He breaks his hand. This is hit into left center. Over to get it, make the catch, Alan Craig. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin and our Fox Sports Midwest crew. Here's Wilson Valdez. He's flied out, lined out, and struck out. Mott is down, if you go by our gun, by about a mile per hour or two from last inning. He was hitting 98, 99. This inning, more times than not, we've seen 96. Here's a 1-1 pitch. One and two the count. Trying to squeeze 4 outs out of Mott. We get a look at his delivery.
He just rears back and throws. Remember, he was a catcher, so he kind of brings that up right by his ear. He doesn't have a lot of movement, but we've seen that, particularly when he throws up in the strike zone, he'll get a little bit more movement and tougher to get on top of that high octane. He gets the ball down a little bit. You know, it seems like he straightens out. Something he tries to do, but I think sometimes his pitches become a little more hittable when he gets them down.
One and two the count.
And it's set up way away.
Valdez spoils the pitch.
There's his breaking ball there. Good time to use it when you're ahead 0-2. You got a light hitter at the plate. Ross Glode, pinch hit. He's on deck. You got 4 runs to work with. You know, it's not always that you can say, okay, I have the luxury that I can work on my future.
And a grounder hit to short. Brendan Ryan with it. Baseball tonight on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. The Mitsubishi Lancer. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Look at the National League champions, the years.
Keep on going.
Yeah, beginning in 1928.
15 National League pennants, 10 World Championships. Second most to the Yankees.
There's Ross Glode.
Glode only batting 182, 3 home runs, 7 pinch hit RBIs this season. Career 280 pinch hitter.
And that's a base hit into right. Well, their pinch hitters are 2 for 2 tonight. Dobbs and Glode.
Actually, that ninth spot in the order. A couple walks to Kendrick and then 2 pinch hit appearances.
Phillies jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first. Cardinals cut into it to make it 3-2. Then they trailed 4-2. Fifth inning, the big inning for St. Louis. 3 home runs, 5 runs scored. And then another solo shot by Randy Wynn in the 6th. The Cardinals actually been out hit in this game 13-8.
Back up, wouldn't you? Are you going to hold him on? Jimmy Rollins, hitting from the left side. You could play behind Gloat and keep him from running. Put yourself in a better defensive position. Jimmy Rollins, premier, former MVP, but spent so much time on the disabled list. Came back too soon, had to go back for the same leg injury. And you can just tell his timing is off.
Ground ball to second. Schumacher flips to Ryan. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Redbirds lead at 8-4. Phillies and 8 for St. Louis, and a look at our Hardee's prime cut of the game. Off the bat of Albert Pujols, a 2-run shot. And for Pujols, number 22, that has put him at the top of the home run list in the National League. Days in first place, Cardinals at 65, Cincinnati with 50.
It was a long time ago when the Pirates were here for 4 days. And have to believe it's the first 4 days of the season.
Good play here by Valdez to take a hit from Yadier Molina.
Matson on the mound now. He takes over, third reliever used by Charlie. And he had his second baseman played perfect with a ground ball up the middle. Andy Wynn made his presence known when he pinch hit back in the 6th inning. He led off the 6th with a pinch hit home run.
We have a situation here where Cardinals could win back-to-back games without Pujols in the lineup like yesterday, and then Holiday here tonight.
Another guy, Matson, who spent time on the disabled list, but really doesn't want to talk about how he got there, as he man after a game, taken out of a game, and broke his right great toe kicking something.
Two and two. Spoils the pitch.
Manson, when he's on, he can really just throw the ball in a downward angle, get a lot of ground balls. Been used sometimes as their closer when Lidge has been out.
Cincinnati in the top of the 7th, leading their game 6-2 over Washington. 2-2. Win with a fly ball out to left. What potentially on paper looked like it could be a real dangerous time of the year for the Cardinals with the Dodgers and the Phillies is now turning into maybe a turning point this year.
No doubt about it, Joe. Coming right out of the break. Yeah, they won the last game before the break. Enjoyed the off time, but then you had the Dodgers and the National League reigning champions coming in, and you say, uh-oh, we better play good baseball. And Cardinals sweep the Dodgers, particularly in dramatic fashion. Yesterday's game, here they have a nice lead. Don't take anything for granted, but this is like an area where you may look back and say, this is where the Cardinals take off.
About this time last year that they did, it was July 24th when they picked up Matt Holliday, and that made all the difference in the world.
Just do it a week or so early.
2-0 the count here on Brendan Ryan. He's lined out and grounded out sharply. That is also picked up an RBI. In out of play. Out front, 2-2. See Brendan really fighting now for playing time with his average hovering around that 200 mark. Popped up.
All right.
Howard is there. Cal McClellan coming in. It's 8-4 St. Louis.
Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Jack Clark standing by. The Cardinals go on a long ball binge. Blake Hawksworth settles in after a rough first, and the youngsters do it again. That and more coming up after the game as we send it back to the booth. Kyle McClellan on to pitch. It's back to Dan and Al, guys.
All right, great to have you back, Jim. And Polanco will lead it off for the Phillies against Kyle McClellan. Some pitch on back-to-back days, Friday and Saturday of the series against the Dodgers.
Multiple innings on each occasion as he picked up hold 15 and 16. A little surprised with a 4-run lead. Maybe you don't run Salas out there, but because of maybe where you are in the batting order, 2, 3, 4.
And a ground ball hit to Lopez. One away. Hope you're just joining us. You missed out on a big fifth inning for the Redbirds. They picked up 5 runs, 2 on that swing of the bat by Albert Pujols. 22nd home run. Alan Craig, his first. And then it was Skip Schumacher in a blink of an eye picking up the home run. And as those two went back-to-back.
Kyle McClellan's been so good, particularly here at home, as he's unscored upon. Pitching his 19th game, 23 and 2/3 innings currently. Scoreless baseball here at home. Great respect to Philadelphia. You just don't want to take anything for granted and don't want to give them an opening.
And I guess it tells you what winning the first game of a series means to Tony here with the Phillies.
Very important, particularly when it's in a 3-game set. But we saw how important it was to win the 4-game series against the Dodgers. Cardinals currently have a 5-game winning streak. That equals their highest of the year. 10 games over 500. That ties their high water mark of early June.
And a 1-2. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Phillies this year, a very good hitting team, has struggled in the 7th inning or later with only a .219 average. Only 2 home runs.
And he walked him. Again, another one of those low pitches. And it does not go the way of Kyle McClellan. Alan Craig, 1 for 4 with his first career home run here tonight. Our Budweiser player of the game. Congratulations to Alan Craig.
A lot sweeter with the Cardinal victory.
Now it's Ryan Howard. Howard had an RBI double in the first. He is singled. He's also bounced into a double play.
Ryan Franklin has thrown in 3 straight games. Another reason. And
this could end it. Brendan Ryan steps on the bat to first, double play. 6 wins in a row. Cardinals are out hit tonight, but it doesn't matter. They win it 8-4. Post-game show coming up.